The surgical prep room smelled like disinfectant and broken dreams. I stared at the IV needle sliding into my arm, wondering if this was what martyrdom felt like. Cold, clinical, and slightly nauseating. "You're so brave, honey." Mum's voice floated over from the corner where she was adjusting her lipstick in her phone camera. "Make sure you get a good angle when they wheel me out, Lillian. The lighting in recovery is terrible. My name is Ava, and in about 2 hours, I'd be missing a kidney." My dad needed it more than I did, apparently. Stage 4 kidney disease doesn't mess around, and neither do I when someone I love is dying. "Ava, you need to smile more," Trinity said, holding up her phone. "This is going on my story. People need to see how supportive our family is. My 19-year-old sister had perfected the art of making everything about her, even my surgery. She'd been documenting Dad's illness like it was content for her Instagram, hospital visits with perfectly messy buns, tearful selfies with inspirational quotes about family strength. "Trinity, put the phone away," Dad said from his wheelchair. He looked grey and tired, but his eyes were warm when they met mine. "Thank you, sweetheart. I know this isn't easy." At least someone acknowledged that I was about to have my body carved open like a Thanksgiving turkey. "The GoFundMe is at 98,000, Mom announced, scrolling through her phone. "Almost at our goal. Trinity's boyfriend, Reed, shared it with his followers. He has like 50,000 of them. I'd forgotten about the fundraiser. The community had rallied around our family when Dad got sick, and the donations kept pouring in. The plan was simple. Use the money for Dad's medical expenses, my recovery costs, and my deferred medical school tuition. I'd already been accepted to my dream program, but I'd pushed back my start date to take care of Dad post-surgery. The Hendersons donated $500, Mom continued, and the church ladies organised that bake sale. Everyone's been so generous. "Because they care about Dad," I said, trying to keep the edge out of my voice. "Of course they do. And they care about all of us. This whole ordeal has been so hard on Trinity especially. She's been such a trooper, posting updates and keeping everyone informed. I wanted to point out that Trinity's biggest contribution had been crying photogenically in the hospital cafeteria, but the anesthesiologist chose that moment to appear. "Ready to save your dad's life?" Dr. Martinez asked with the kind of forced cheer that medical professionals perfect. "Ready as I'll ever be." Dad reached over and squeezed my hand. "I love you, Ava. I'll never be able to repay you for this." "You don't have to repay me. You're my dad." Trinity sniffled loudly. "This is so emotional. I can barely handle it." The nurse started wheeling me toward the operating room. Through the haze of pre-surgery medication, I heard Mom coaching Trinity on which hashtags to use in her posts. Something about FJA, family strength, and HA, kidney warrior. I closed my eyes and tried to focus on why I was doing this. Dad had coached my soccer team when I was 8. He'd stayed up all night helping me with my chemistry homework in high school. He'd driven me to every MCAT prep session without complaint. This was what family did for each other. The last thing I remembered before going under was the bright surgical lights, and Dr. Martinez telling me to count backward from 10. When I woke up, my side felt like someone had taken a blowtorch to it. The recovery room was dim, and it took me a moment to focus on the voices nearby. "I can't believe this happened today, of all days," Trinity was sobbing. "It's completely ruined." For a second, I thought something had gone wrong with the surgery. Maybe Dad's body was rejecting the kidney. Maybe there had been complications. "Honey, we can get you a new one," Mom said softly. "Don't cry." "But I loved this one. It had all my photos, all my contacts, and look at the screen, it's completely shattered." I turned my head slightly and saw Trinity holding up her iPhone, the screen spider-webbed with cracks. "We'll go to the Apple store tomorrow," Mom promised. "We'll get you the newest model." My sister was crying over her broken phone while I was lying here with surgical staples holding my torso together. The irony would have been funny if it didn't hurt so much to breathe. A nurse appeared at my bedside. "How are you feeling, sweetheart?" "Like I got hit by a truck." "That's normal. The surgery went perfectly. Your dad's already responding well to the new kidney." At least something good had come out of this. I closed my eyes and tried to ignore Trinity's continued sobbing about her phone. Tomorrow, I'd start my recovery. Tomorrow, I'd figure out how to pay for medical school with the fundraiser money. Tomorrow, everything would be different. I just didn't know how different yet. 3 days later, I shuffled through the front door like a zombie extra from a B-movie. Every step sent lightning bolts through my incision, but I was finally home. "Ava's back," Trinity called from the living room, not bothering to get up from the couch. Mum appeared in the hallway, already dressed in her tennis outfit. "Oh, good, you're here. I have to run to the club, but there's leftover casserole in the fridge. The church ladies brought enough food to feed an army." "How's Dad doing?" I asked, gripping the doorframe for support. "Much better. The doctors are amazed at how quickly he's recovering. Your kidney is working perfectly." She said it like I'd loaned him my car instead of a vital organ. "That's great. I think I need to lie down for a while." "Actually, before you do that, we need to talk about Saturday." I blinked at her. "Saturday?" "The appreciation dinner. The Rotary Club is hosting it to thank everyone who donated to the GoFundMe. You need to be there to thank people properly." "Mum, I can barely walk to the bathroom without wanting to pass out." "Ava, don't be dramatic. It's just a few hours, and it's important for our family's reputation. People have been so generous, and they want to see that their money went to a good cause." Trinity bounced into the hallway, practically glowing. "Mom, look what Reed posted." She shoved her new iPhone, apparently the Apple Store trip had been successful, in my face. The screen showed a photo of Trinity leaning against a sleek white BMW, captioned, "Sometimes angels come in the form of little sisters. So grateful for everyone's support during our family's difficult time. Blessed age family first, Hach new beginnings." I stared at the phone, then at Trinity, then at Mom. "Whose car is that?" "Mine," Trinity squealed. "Isn't she gorgeous? Reed helped me pick her out yesterday." "You bought a car?" "We bought Trinity a car," Mom corrected. "She's been through so much stress with your father's illness. She deserves something nice." My surgical site throbbed. "With what money?" "The fundraiser money, obviously. Don't worry, there's still plenty left for your medical expenses." That money was supposed to be for Dad's medical bills and my recovery costs and medical school. Mum's expression hardened. "Ava, your sister has been the rock of this family. While you were focused on your own plans, Trinity was here every day, supporting your father and me. She posted updates, organised the social media campaign, kept everyone informed. She's the reason we raised so much money in the first place. I gave Dad my kidney, and we're grateful for that. But Trinity gave us her emotional support, which is just as valuable. She's been so strong for all of us." I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. "She bought a BMW with donation money." "It's not just any BMW," Trinity said defensively. "It's a certified pre-owned 2022 model. Reed found it at a great price." "How much?" $35,000, Mom said quickly, which is very reasonable for a car of that quality. $35,000. "Ava, you're being selfish. This whole experience has been traumatic for Trinity. She watched her father almost die. She watched her sister go through surgery. She needs something positive in her life." I leaned against the wall, feeling dizzy. "What else did you buy?" "Nothing major, just some things we needed." Trinity held up a shopping bag from Nordstrom. "I got a few outfits for the appreciation dinner. I need to look good when I thank everyone for their support." "How much?" "It doesn't matter," Mom snapped. "Ava, I don't like your tone. You're acting like we stole something." "Didn't you?" The silence stretched between us like a taut wire. Mum's face flushed red. "How dare you? After everything we've been through as a family, after all the stress and worry, You want to begrudge your sister a little happiness? You want to begrudge me a few nice things after watching my husband almost die?" "What nice things?" Trinity giggled nervously. "Mom got the kitchen redone. You should see the new countertops. They're gorgeous." I pushed past them into the kitchen. Granite countertops gleamed under new pendant lights. Stainless steel appliances that definitely hadn't been there a week ago lined the walls. The whole room looked like something from a home renovation show. "This must have cost $20,000. The kitchen needed updating anyway," Mum said from behind me, "and it's important for Dad's recovery to have a clean, modern space for meal preparation." I turned around slowly. "You spent over $50,000 of donation money on a car and a kitchen renovation. We spent money on things our family needed during a difficult time. I need that money for medical school. You can take out loans like everyone else. Trinity can't take out loans for emotional trauma." I stared at my mother, this woman who'd raised me, who'd taught me to share my toys and say please and thank you, who was now standing in her brand new kitchen telling me that my sister's feelings were worth more than my education. "I'm going to lie down. Don't forget about Saturday," Mum called after me, "and try to adjust your attitude. People are going to want to see a grateful daughter, not a bitter one." I made it to my room before the tears started. Through my window I could see Trinity taking selfies with her new car, probably planning her next viral post about family strength and overcoming adversity. My phone buzzed with a text from the bank. "Your GoFundMe debit card has been used for a purchase of $847.32 at Williams-Sonoma." I sat on my bed staring at the message, and something cold settled in my chest. They weren't done spending. They were just getting started. 2 weeks later, I was sitting at my desk trying to focus on my MCAT review books when the sound of power tools started up downstairs. Again. "What are they doing now?" I muttered, closing my textbook. The noise had been constant for days. First it was the kitchen renovation, then the bathroom remodel. Now, apparently, they were working on the living room. I grabbed my crutches, still needed them for longer walks, and made my way downstairs. The living room looked like a construction zone. Workers were installing built-in shelving units while Mom directed them like she was hosting her own HGTV show. "A little to the left," she called out. "Perfect. Trinity, what do you think?" My sister looked up from her phone, where she was filming the renovation. "It's gorgeous, Mom. My followers are going to die when they see this." "What's all this?" I asked. "We're creating a wellness space for your father's recovery," Mum said without looking at me. "The doctor said he needs a calm, organised environment to reduce stress. Dad's upstairs napping, which is why we're doing this now. It'll be a surprise." One of the workers held up a receipt. "Mum, we'll need the final payment before we finish the installation." "Of course." Mum pulled out a debit card, the same GoFundMe card I'd been getting notifications about. "How much was it again?" $12,000 for the built-ins plus $8,000 for the hardwood refinishing. I nearly choked. $20,000 for shelves? "They're custom built-ins," Trinity said, still filming. "And look at this hardwood. It's like a mirror. Reed is going to flip when he sees this." Speaking of Reed, he chose that moment to walk through the front door carrying a massive flat-screen TV box. "Where do you want this beauty?" he called out. "Living room," Trinity squealed, "right above the fireplace. 85 inches of pure perfection," Reed said, setting the box down carefully. 4K, HDR, the works. Your dad's going to love watching his sports on this." "How much did that cost?" I asked. "Don't worry about it," Mom said quickly. "Reed got us a great deal through his connections." Reed grinned. "Only $4,000. Normally retails for $6,000. $4,000 for a TV. "It's not just a TV," Trinity said. "It's a home entertainment system for Dad's recovery." I looked around the chaos, workers installing $20,000 shelving, my sister's boyfriend hauling in expensive electronics, Mum directing it all with the fundraiser debit card. "I need to talk to you," I said to Mum, privately. "I'm busy right now, Ava. Can it wait?" No, it can't wait, Mom sighed dramatically. Fine, Trinity, keep an eye on the workers. We went into the kitchen, the brand new granite countertop kitchen that had cost more than most people's cars. This has to stop, I said. What has to stop? The spending, the renovations, the car, the TV, all of it. Ava, I don't know what you're implying. I'm not implying anything. I'm saying it directly. You're spending donation money on things that have nothing to do with Dad's medical care or my recovery. Mom's face hardened. Everything we've purchased has been for this family's well-being during a difficult time. Trinity doesn't need a BMW for her well-being. Your sister has been under tremendous stress. She's been the glue holding this family together while you were focused on your own problems. My own problems? I gave Dad my kidney. And Trinity gave us her emotional support, her social media presence, her time and energy organising the fundraising campaign. She's the reason we have this money in the first place. I stared at her. Are you serious right now? Completely serious. While you were thinking about medical school and your future, Trinity was thinking about our family's immediate needs. She deserves recognition for that. Recognition, not a luxury car. It's not luxury, it's reliable transportation so she can continue helping us. The front door opened and Olive walked in, stopping short when she saw the construction chaos. Whoa, what's happening here? Just some home improvements, Mum said coolly. She'd never liked Olive, probably because Olive saw through the family's perfect facade. Looks expensive, Olive said, taking in the workers and equipment. We're using the fundraiser money responsibly, Mum replied. Olive's eyebrows shot up. The fundraiser money for renovations, for creating a healing environment for Albert's recovery. Right. Olive looked at me. Ava, can I talk to you upstairs? She's busy helping coordinate the work, Mum said. Actually, I'm not, I said, following Olive toward the stairs. In my room, Olive closed the door and turned to me. Please tell me you're not okay with this. Of course I'm not okay with it. Then why aren't you stopping it? How? It's not like I can physically wrestle the debit card away from her. You can report it. This is fraud, Ava. People donated money for medical expenses, not home renovations. They're my family. They're stealing from you. And from everyone who donated. I sat heavily on my bed. I know. So, what are you going to do about it? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with another bank notification. This time it was for $3,200 at a furniture store. They just bought more stuff, I said, showing Olive the text. Ava, you have to do something. This is insane. Downstairs, I could hear Trinity squealing with delight over something, probably another expensive purchase being delivered. Reed was laughing. Mum was giving directions to the workers, and somewhere in the middle of it all was the sound of our family's reputation being bought and paid for with other people's generosity. I need to check something, I said, opening my laptop. I logged into the GoFundMe account, the main account, not just the debit card notifications. What I saw made my stomach drop. Olive, look at this. She leaned over my shoulder as I scrolled through the transaction history. Car payment, kitchen renovation, furniture, electronics, clothing, restaurants, spa treatments for Mum, even a weekend getaway to a resort. They've spent almost $70,000, Olive whispered. In 3 weeks. Ava, you have to stop this. Now. I stared at the screen, at the dwindling balance that was supposed to pay for my medical school tuition, my recovery expenses, my future. Yeah, I said quietly. I think I do. But first I needed to understand exactly how much control I actually had over this account. And whether my family realised that the person whose name was on the fundraiser, the person who'd set it up and had primary access, wasn't Mom or Dad. It was me. That evening, Mum insisted we have a family dinner to celebrate Dad's progress. The dining room table was set with the new china she'd bought, another GoFundMe purchase I'd discovered while digging through the account. Isn't this nice? Mum said, lighting candles. A proper family meal in our beautiful home. Dad looked around the renovated space, seeming overwhelmed. It's certainly different. When did all this happen? While you were resting, Trinity said, taking photos of her plate. We wanted to surprise you. The kidney is working perfectly, Dad said, patting my hand. I feel better than I have in years. Thank you again, sweetheart. You're welcome, Dad. And thank you too, Trinity, for everything you've done. Your mother tells me you've been incredible through all this. Trinity beamed. I just wanted to help however I could. Speaking of help, Mom said, we need to discuss the thank you cards for the donors. Trinity's been working on them, but there are so many people to acknowledge. How many people donated? Dad asked. Over 800, Trinity said proudly. My social media campaign really worked. Reed's been helping me track all the engagement metrics. 800 people, I repeated. That's a lot of trust. Mum's fork paused halfway to her mouth. What do you mean by that? I mean 800 people believed their money was going toward medical expenses. They trusted us to use it responsibly. We have been using it responsibly, Mom said sharply. Have we? Because I've been looking at the account and I'm seeing charges for furniture, electronics, spa treatments. Ava, not at dinner, Dad said quietly. When then? When is the appropriate time to discuss the fact that we've spent $70,000 of donation money on home improvements? The silence stretched across the table like spilled wine. 70,000? Dad's voice was barely a whisper. It's not that simple, Mom said. Everything we've purchased has been for the family's well-being during this crisis. A BMW is for the family's well-being. Trinity needed reliable transportation to help with errands and appointments. She had a perfectly good Honda. That car was 5 years old, Trinity said defensively, and it didn't have good safety ratings. So you bought a luxury car with money people donated for medical bills. It's not luxury, it's practical, Mom snapped. And I don't appreciate your tone, Ava. You're acting like we committed some kind of crime. Didn't you? Dad set down his fork. Girls, please. No, Dad. This is important. I turned back to Mom. People donated money because they thought Dad might die. They donated because they wanted to help with medical expenses and my recovery. They didn't donate so Trinity could get a new car and you could renovate the house. Your sister has been under tremendous stress, Mom said, her voice rising. She's been posting updates, keeping everyone informed, managing the social media campaign. She's been the face of this family's struggle. I've been the kidney of this family's struggle, Trinity gasped. That's horrible, Ava. You're being so mean. Mean? I'm being honest. You're being selfish, Mom said coldly. Trinity has sacrificed just as much as you have. She's put her life on hold to support this family. What life? She's 19 and lives at home. She deferred her college semester to help us. She was failing her classes anyway. Ava, Dad's voice cut through the argument. That's enough. Is it? Because I don't think it is. I pulled out my phone and opened the banking app. Do you want to see what we spent money on today? $3,000 at Pottery Barn, $1,500 at Nordstrom, $800 at that fancy restaurant downtown. We took your father out to celebrate his recovery, Mom said, with donation money. It's our money now, Trinity said. People gave it to our family. They gave it for medical expenses. And we've had medical expenses, Mom said. Your surgery, your father's surgery, medications, follow-up appointments. Those cost maybe $10,000 total. We've spent $70,000. Dad looked pale. $70,000? Albert, don't listen to her, Mom said quickly. She's exaggerating. I turned my phone screen toward him. Look for yourself. Dad stared at the transaction history, his face growing paler with each swipe. Lillian, what is this? It's taking care of our family during a crisis. It's a spa day for $400. It's dinner at restaurants I can't even pronounce. He kept scrolling. My God, what have you done? I've kept this family together while you were sick and she was recovering, Mum said, pointing at me. I've managed everything, organised everything, made sure everyone was taken care of. By spending other people's money on luxuries. They're not luxuries. They're necessities for our mental health and family stability. I stood up from the table. I can't listen to this anymore. Sit down, Mum commanded. We're not finished. Yes, we are. This conversation, this dinner, this whole charade, we're finished. Ava, please, Dad said. Let's just calm down and figure this out together. Figure what out, Dad? How to justify stealing from 800 people who trusted us. We didn't steal anything, Trinity said, tears starting to flow. Why are you being so cruel? We're family. Family doesn't do this to each other. You're right, Mum said, standing up as well. Family doesn't accuse each other of theft. Family doesn't try to make each other feel guilty for trying to survive a crisis. Family supports each other. Then where's my support? Where's my medical school tuition? Where's my recovery fund? You can get loans, Mom said dismissively. Students get loans all the time. And Trinity can get a job to pay for her car. That's different. How? Because Trinity has been there for us. Trinity has been loyal to this family. You've been focused on yourself and your future plans. I stared at my mother, this woman who'd raised me, who'd taught me right from wrong, who was now standing in her renovated kitchen telling me that loyalty meant staying silent while my family committed fraud. You know what? You're right. I have been focused on my future, and I'm going to keep focusing on it. I walked toward the stairs, leaving them sitting around their expensive new table with their expensive new china. Where are you going? Mom called after me. To make some phone calls. Ava, don't do anything stupid. I paused at the bottom of the stairs. Don't worry, Mom. I'm done doing stupid things, like trusting my family. In my room, I opened my laptop and pulled up the GoFundMe platform's contact information. It was time to have a conversation with someone named Emma about protecting donor funds and preventing fraud. It was time to take control. The next morning I was on the phone with Emma from the GoFundMe platform when Dad knocked on my door. Ava, can we talk? I muted the call. I'm busy, Dad. Please, it's important. I told Emma I'd call her back and opened the door. Dad looked exhausted, like he'd aged 10 years overnight. Your mother told me about your conversation yesterday, about the money. Which part? The $70,000 or the part where she called me selfish for wanting my medical school tuition? All of it. He sat heavily on my desk chair. I had no idea things had gotten so out of hand. Really? You didn't notice the new kitchen, the living room renovation, Trinity's BMW? I've been focused on recovery. I trusted your mother to handle the finances. Well, she handled them all right. Dad rubbed his face. What do you want me to do? I want you to tell them to stop spending donation money on things that have nothing to do with medical expenses. And if they don't listen, then I'll handle it myself. Ava, they're your family. Whatever problems we have, we should work them out together. Together? Dad, I gave you my kidney. I deferred medical school. I've been recovering from major surgery while watching my family spend donation money like they won the lottery. When exactly has this been together? You're right. I know you're right. But maybe we can find a compromise. Maybe we can set aside money for your school and let your mother and Trinity keep some of what they've already spent. I stared at him. You want me to compromise with people who stole from me? They didn't steal. What would you call it? Dad was quiet for a long moment. I don't know, but I know that if you report this or make it public, it'll destroy our family. Our family is already destroyed, Dad. You just haven't noticed yet. Before he could respond, Trinity burst through my door without knocking. Ava, we have a problem. We have several problems. The car payment got declined. The dealership called and said there's an issue with the account. I looked at her innocent face, her perfectly styled hair, her designer outfit that probably cost more than most people's rent. What kind of issue? I don't know, something about insufficient funds or a hold on the account. Reed is freaking out because he co-signed and now his credit might be affected. Maybe you shouldn't have bought a car you couldn't afford. I could afford it. The money was right there in the account. That money wasn't yours, Trinity. It was our family's money. Dad stood up. Girls, please don't fight. I'm not fighting, I said calmly. I'm explaining reality. The money people donated was for medical expenses, not luxury cars. It's not a luxury car. Trinity's voice was getting shrill. And besides, I've been working so hard on the social media campaign. I've been posting updates, sharing stories, getting people to donate. I earned that money. You earned it? Yes. Do you know how exhausting it is to manage a social media presence during a family crisis? Do you know how hard it is to look perfect and positive when everything is falling apart? I stood up slowly, my surgical site still tender. Do you know how hard it is to have your body cut open and an organ removed? That's different. How? Because you chose to do that. I didn't choose to have Dad get sick. I didn't choose to have my family fall apart. I didn't choose to have to manage everyone's emotions and keep everyone updated and make sure people kept donating. Nobody asked you to do any of that. Somebody had to. You were too busy feeling sorry for yourself, and Mom was too stressed and Dad was too sick. So I stepped up. I took responsibility, and now you want to punish me for it. I want you to return the car. Never. Trinity, Dad said gently, maybe we should consider... No, I'm not giving up my car because Ava is jealous. She's always been jealous of me. Jealous of what? Of everything. Of how people like me, of how I'm good at social media, of how Mom and Dad actually want to spend time with me. The words hit like a slap. Dad looked uncomfortable, but he didn't deny it. You think I'm jealous that Mom and Dad prefer you? I know you are. You've always known you were the backup child, the one they had to love because they had to, not because they wanted to. Trinity, that's enough, Dad said, but his voice lacked conviction. It's true though, isn't it, Dad? You've always liked me better. I'm more fun, more social, more positive. Ava's always been so serious and judgmental. Dad looked at me, then at Trinity, then at the floor. I love both my daughters equally. But you like one of us more, I said quietly. The silence stretched between us. Dad's inability to answer was an answer itself. The car payment got declined because I put a hold on the account, I said finally. Trinity gasped. You what? I contacted the platform, told them I was concerned about fraudulent charges. You can't do that. Actually, I can. My name is on the account. I'm the primary beneficiary. Mom! Trinity screamed, running toward the door. Mom, come here right now. Within seconds, Mom appeared in my doorway, her face flushed with anger. What did you do? I protected the donation money from further misuse. You had no right. I had every right. It's my account. That money belongs to this family. That money belongs to the people who donated it. And they donated it for medical expenses, not home renovations and luxury cars. Mum's face was turning red. You ungrateful little... Lillian, Dad warned. No, Albert, I'm done tiptoeing around her feelings. She's selfish and vindictive, and she's trying to destroy this family out of spite. I'm trying to save what's left of our integrity. Our integrity? Mom laughed bitterly. What about family loyalty? What about supporting each other during difficult times? What about not stealing from people who trusted us? We didn't steal anything. Then explain the $70,000 in non-medical expenses. Mum opened her mouth, then closed it. For the first time since this whole mess started, she had no answer. The account is frozen, I said calmly. No more purchases until we figure out how to return the money that was spent inappropriately. You can't do this, Trinity whispered. I already did. And for the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe again. The next morning I woke up to the sound of screaming downstairs. Not arguing, screaming. I grabbed my robe and hurried down to find Trinity sobbing hysterically in the kitchen, while Mom paced back and forth, her phone pressed to her ear. "What do you mean the payment was declined again?" Mom was saying. "We've been customers for 15 years. Trinity looked up at me with mascara streaming down her face. "They're going to repossess my car." "What happened?" "The dealership called," Dad said quietly from the corner. He looked like he hadn't slept. "The final payment on Trinity's car bounced. They want the full amount by noon or they're sending a tow truck." "How much?" $18,000, Trinity wailed. "Reed is freaking out because his credit is going to be ruined. His parents are threatening to cut him off if this affects their family's credit score." Mum hung up the phone and whirled around to face me. "Fix this. Right now." "Fix what?" "Unfreeze the account. Pay for the car. Stop this nonsense." "I'm not unfreezing anything." "Ava, please," Trinity begged. I'll do anything. I'll pay you back. I'll get a job. You'll what? You've never had a job in your life." "I'll learn. I'll figure it out. Just please don't let them take my car." "Maybe you should have thought about that before you bought a car you couldn't afford, with money that wasn't yours." Mum stepped closer to me, her face twisted with rage. "You vindictive little bitch!" "Lillian," Dad snapped. "No, Albert, I'm done pretending this is about principles or integrity. This is about revenge. She's punishing us because she's jealous of Trinity." "I'm not jealous of Trinity." "Then why are you doing this? Why are you destroying your own family?" "I'm not destroying anything. I'm trying to save what's left of our reputation before this gets worse." "Worse? How could it get worse?" As if on cue, the doorbell rang. Through the front window I could see a tow truck in our driveway. Trinity let out a sound like a wounded animal. "No, no, no, this can't be happening." The doorbell rang again, followed by heavy knocking. "Don't answer it," Mom hissed. "They're not going away," Dad said. More knocking, more insistent this time. "I'll handle this," Mom said, marching toward the front door. We all followed her. Through the glass I could see a man in coveralls holding a clipboard. Mum opened the door with her brightest fake smile. "Good morning. I think there's been some mistake." "Mum, I'm here to repossess a 2022 BMW registered to Trinity Dunn. White sedan, license plate." "There's been a payment error," Mum interrupted. "We're sorting it out with the bank right now. I'm sorry, Mum, but I have orders to take the vehicle. The account is 3 payments behind." "3 payments?" Trinity gasped. The man checked his clipboard. "Initial down payment bounced, first monthly payment bounced, and yesterday's final payment bounced. Dealership's been trying to reach you for 2 weeks." "That's impossible," Mum said. "We've been making payments." "Not according to our records. Is the vehicle on the premises?" Trinity ran outside in her pajamas. "You can't take my car. I need it." "I'm sorry, miss. I'm just doing my job." "How much to make this go away?" Mom asked desperately. "Full amount owed plus fees. $22,800. The number hung in the air like a death sentence. "We can get you the money," Mom said quickly. "Just give us until this afternoon. Mom, I've got orders to take the car now. You can work out payment with the dealership, but the vehicle comes with me." Trinity threw herself across the hood of the BMW. "I won't let you take it." "Trinity, get off the car," Dad said quietly. "No, this is my car. I earned it." "Miss, please step away from the vehicle." "Trinity," I said, "get off the car." She looked at me with pure hatred. "This is your fault. You did this on purpose. I didn't make you buy a car you couldn't afford. You froze the account after you'd already spent $70,000 of donation money." The tow truck driver looked uncomfortable. "Folks, I really need to take the vehicle. If you want to continue this discussion, you can do it without me." "Please," Trinity begged, sliding off the hood. "Just give us one more day." "I'm sorry, miss." We watched in silence as he loaded the BMW onto his truck. Trinity sobbed the entire time, and Mom kept making frantic phone calls to the bank, the dealership, anyone who might help. When the truck pulled away, Trinity collapsed on the front lawn, still crying. "Are you happy now?" Mum asked me. "No, I'm not happy. I'm sad that it came to this. You could have prevented it. So could you, by not spending donation money on a luxury car." "It wasn't luxury. It was a $40,000 car, Mum. The payments were manageable, with other people's money." Dad sat down heavily on the front steps. "What are we going to tell people?" "What do you mean?" Mum asked. "The donors, the community. Trinity's been posting about the car for weeks. People are going to notice when it's gone." Trinity's sobs got louder. "Everyone's going to know. Reed's going to break up with me. My followers are going to think I'm a fraud." "You are a fraud," I said quietly. "Ava," Dad warned. "What? She is. We all are. We took money from people who trusted us and spent it on things we didn't need. We're frauds and liars and thieves." "Stop it," Mom said. "Why? Because the truth hurts? Because you're being cruel." "I'm being honest. For the first time in weeks, someone in this family is being honest." Trinity stood up, grass stains on her pajamas, mascara streaking her face. I hate you so much." "I know. You've ruined everything, my car, my relationship, my reputation, everything." "I didn't ruin anything, Trinity. I just stopped enabling it." She ran into the house, slamming the door behind her. Mom looked at me with disgust. "I hope you're proud of yourself." "I'm not proud. I'm just done." "Done with what?" "Done pretending this is normal. Done pretending we're a good family. Done pretending that what you've been doing is okay." I turned to go back inside, but Mom grabbed my arm. "This isn't over, Ava. You think you've won something, but you haven't. You've just made yourself an enemy of your own family." I looked down at her hand on my arm, then back at her face. "Let go of me." "Or what? Or I'll call the police and report the fraud myself." She dropped my arm like it was on fire. "You wouldn't. Try me." I walked back into the house, leaving my parents standing in the driveway, staring at the empty space where Trinity's car used to be. Upstairs, I could hear Trinity on the phone with Reed, trying to explain why her car had been repossessed. Her voice was getting more hysterical by the minute. I sat down at my laptop and opened my email. There was a message from Emma at GoFundMe, confirming that the account was secure and asking if I wanted to pursue legal action against the unauthorized users. I stared at the screen for a long time, my finger hovering over the reply button. My family had made their choice. Now it was time to make mine. 3 days later, I was sitting at my laptop when I heard Mom's heels clicking rapidly up the stairs. She burst into my room without knocking, her face pale and her hands shaking. "What did you do?" I looked up from my screen where I'd just finished confirming my medical school enrollment and housing deposit. "I paid my tuition." "With what money?" "The donation money. You know, the money that was supposed to pay for my education. You can't do that without discussing it with the family first. Like you discussed buying Trinity a car or renovating the kitchen." Dad appeared in the doorway behind her, looking defeated. "Ava, how much did you spend?" $43,000 for tuition, $12,000 for housing, and $5,000 for living expenses. $60,000 total. Mom sank into my desk chair. "There's no money left. There's about $15,000 left. Enough to cover Dad's actual medical expenses and my remaining recovery costs." "What about the kitchen renovation loan? What about the furniture payments? What about them? Those were your choices, not mine." Trinity's voice came from the hallway. "Mom, what's happening? Why is everyone yelling?" She appeared in my doorway, still in her pajamas even though it was 3 in the afternoon. Ever since the car got repossessed, she'd barely left her room. "Your sister stole our money," Mom said. "I didn't steal anything. I used donation money for its intended purpose." "Intended by who?" Trinity demanded. "By the 800 people who donated it, for medical expenses and my education." "What about my expenses? What about my trauma from watching Dad almost die? What trauma, Trinity? You spent the whole time taking selfies and shopping. I was coping. Everyone copes differently. Some people cope by giving their kidney. Others cope by buying BMWs. You're so mean. Trinity started crying again. You've always been mean to me. I've never been mean to you. I've been honest with you. There's a difference. Dad stepped into the room. Girls, we need to figure out how to fix this together. There's nothing to fix, I said. I'm starting medical school in 2 weeks. I've got housing arranged, tuition paid, everything sorted. What about us? Mom asked. What about this family? What about it? We have obligations, payments to make, people expecting things from us. Then you should have thought about that before you spent $70,000 on luxuries. They weren't luxuries. A BMW isn't a luxury. A kitchen renovation isn't a luxury. Spa days and expensive dinners aren't luxuries. They were necessities for our mental health during a crisis. I closed my laptop and stood up. You know what was a necessity for my mental health? Knowing that my sacrifice meant something. Knowing that my family appreciated what I did. Knowing that the money people donated out of kindness would be used responsibly. We did appreciate. No, you didn't. You saw an opportunity and you took it. You saw a pile of money and you grabbed as much as you could. Trinity wiped her nose on her sleeve. What are we supposed to tell people? Everyone's going to ask about the car, about the renovations. Reed's parents are already asking questions. Tell them the truth. What truth? Mom asked. That you spent donation money on things you didn't need and now you can't afford the payments. We can't say that. Why not? It's what happened. It'll ruin our reputation. Your reputation was ruined the moment you decided to commit fraud. Dad sat down on my bed. Ava, please, there has to be a way to work this out. Maybe you could take out loans for school and we could use some of the remaining money to... No, just hear me out. No, Dad, I'm done hearing you out. I'm done compromising. I'm done being the family scapegoat. You're not a scapegoat, Mom said. Really? Because Trinity gets a car and I get called selfish. Trinity gets new clothes and I get told to be grateful. Trinity gets praised for her emotional support and I get criticized for wanting my tuition money. That's not... It's exactly what happened, and it's what's been happening my whole life. Trinity looked genuinely confused. What do you mean? I mean, you've always been the favourite, Trinity. The pretty one, the social one, the one who gets everything she wants while I get told to work harder and be more grateful. That's not true, Dad said weakly. Isn't it? When Trinity failed her classes, you got her a tutor. When I struggled with chemistry, you told me to figure it out myself. When Trinity wanted a car for her 16th birthday, you bought her one. When I wanted money for SAT prep, you told me to get a job. The room was quiet except for Trinity's sniffling. I gave you my kidney, I continued. I literally gave you a piece of my body to save Dad's life. And your response was to spend the money people donated on luxuries for yourselves. We didn't mean... Mom started. Yes, you did. You meant every bit of it. You saw an opportunity to get things you wanted and you took it. You just didn't expect me to fight back. My phone buzzed with a text from Olive. Check Reed's Instagram. Now. I opened the app and found Reed's latest post. It was a long caption over a photo of him looking serious and concerned. Guys, I need to share something important about the situation with Trinity's family. After seeing how they've been treating Ava, I can't stay silent anymore. The money that was donated for medical expenses has been used for home renovations, luxury purchases, and other non-medical costs. Ava gave her kidney to save her father's life, and her family has been spending the donation money while calling her selfish for wanting her education funded. This isn't right. Trinity is an amazing person, but her family's behaviour toward Ava is unacceptable. I can't be part of this anymore. Answer truth. Matters hancha justice for Ava. The post already had hundreds of comments and shares. I showed the screen to my family. Mum went white. Trinity gasped. Dad just stared. "Reed broke up with me," Trinity whispered. "He posted this and then blocked me on everything." "Good for him," I said. "How can you say that?" "Because he's the first person in this mess to do the right thing." Mom grabbed my phone. "You have to make him take this down. Our reputation is over. It's done. Everyone's going to know what you did." "This will destroy us," Dad said quietly. "You destroyed yourselves. I just stopped enabling it." I took my phone back and started packing my clothes into a suitcase. "Where are you going?" Trinity asked. "Uncle Victor's, until I leave for school." "You can't just abandon your family," Mum said. "Watch me." As I zipped up my suitcase, my phone started buzzing with notifications, comments, messages, shares. The story was spreading fast. I looked at my family one last time, Mom panicking about reputation, Trinity crying about her breakup, Dad looking lost and overwhelmed. "For what it's worth," I said, "I'm sorry it came to this, but I'm not sorry I stood up for myself." I walked out of the room, down the stairs, and out the front door, leaving them to face the consequences of their choices. For the first time in months, I felt free. Uncle Victor's house smelled like coffee and old books, nothing like the sterile perfection of my parents' renovated home. I'd been there for a week, helping him organise his garage while we both pretended I wasn't hiding from the fallout of Reed's viral post. "Your phone's been buzzing for 10 minutes straight," Victor said, handing me a wrench. "I know, I'm ignoring it." "Might be important." "It's probably more reporters wanting a statement or people from high school asking if the rumours are true." Victor wiped his hands on a rag. "What rumours?" "That my family stole donation money, that I'm vindictive and cruel, that I destroyed my own family for revenge." I shrugged. "Pick your favourite. And what do you think?" "I think I did what I had to do." My phone buzzed again. This time it was Olive calling. "You should answer that one," Victor said. I sighed and picked up. "Hey, Ava, thank God, I've been trying to reach you all morning." "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. Something's right. Very right. Have you seen the news?" "I've been avoiding the news." "Channel 7 wants to interview you. They're doing a story about donation fraud and family financial abuse. They want to use your case as an example of how victims can fight back." "I'm not a victim." "Yes, you are, and so are all the people who donated money thinking it would go to medical expenses." Victor was watching me carefully. He'd been doing that all week, like he was waiting for me to break down or explode. Instead, I'd just been quiet. "I don't want to be on TV, Olive." "You don't have to be." "But, Ava, listen to me. The story is already out there. Reed's post has been shared 50,000 times. People are talking about this whether you participate or not. Don't you want to control your own narrative?" Before I could answer, Victor's landline rang. He answered it with a gruff, "Hello." Then his expression changed. "It's for you," he said, holding out the phone. "Your father." I took the phone reluctantly. "Dad?" "Ava, sweetheart, we need to talk." "I don't think we do. Please, can you come home for an hour?" "Why?" "Because your mother wants to apologise." I almost laughed. Mom wants to apologise. She's been crying for 3 days. The whole thing with Reed's post, the community reaction, the reporters calling. She realises she made mistakes. Mistakes? Poor choices. She wants to make things right. I looked at Victor, who was pretending not to listen while obviously hanging on every word. "What about Trinity?" "Trinity's processing, but she wants to see you too." "Fine, 1 hour." When I walked into my parents' house, it felt different. Smaller somehow. The renovated kitchen that had seemed so impressive a week ago now looked gaudy and excessive. Mom was sitting at the dining room table, her eyes red and puffy. Trinity was curled up on the couch, looking younger than her 19 years. "Ava," Mum stood up quickly, "thank you for coming. You have 55 minutes. I owe you an apology. You owe 800 donors an apology." "You're right, we all do." She sat back down heavily. "I've been thinking about what you said, about favoritism, about taking advantage of people's generosity, about everything. And you were right about all of it." Trinity looked up from the couch. "Reed won't talk to me. His parents called my parents and said they're considering legal action because of the credit damage. I'm sorry that happened." "Are you really?" "I'm sorry you're hurt. I'm not sorry that actions have consequences." "That's fair," she said quietly. Dad cleared his throat. "We've been talking to a lawyer about how to pay back the money that was spent inappropriately." "How?" "We're selling the house." I stared at him. "What?" "The renovations increased the value. We can sell it, pay off the mortgage, and use the remainder to reimburse the donors." "Where will you live?" "We found a rental across town. It's smaller, but it's what we can afford." Mum wiped her eyes. "I called the GoFundMe platform, explained what happened. They're going to help us set up a repayment plan for people who want their money back." "And Trinity's car?" "Already repossessed," Trinity said. "I'm taking the bus to community college in the fall." "You're going to college?" "I have to do something with my life. Reed was right about that too." We sat in silence for a moment. Outside I could hear kids playing in the neighbourhood, normal sounds of normal families having normal problems. "I don't forgive you," I said finally. Mum nodded. "I understand, but I don't hate you either. You're my family, even if you're not very good at it." "We want to try to be better," Dad said. "Then be better, don't just want it." My phone buzzed with a text. It was from the medical school. "Welcome packet and orientation schedule attached. We're excited to have you join us." "I have to go," I said, standing up. "Will you—" Mum started, then stopped. "Will you let us know how school goes?" "Maybe, if you actually follow through on paying people back." "We will," Dad said firmly. "And if you stop expecting me to fix your problems or make excuses for your choices." "We will," Trinity said. I walked toward the door, then turned back. "For what it's worth, I hope you figure it out. All of you." Outside, Victor was waiting in his truck. "How'd it go?" he asked as I got in. "Better than expected, worse than I hoped." "That's family for you." As we drove away, I saw Mum watching from the window. She raised her hand in a small wave. I didn't wave back, but I didn't look away either. My phone buzzed with another notification. This time it was an email with the subject line, "I know what you did." But it wasn't from Trinity. It was from someone named Sarah, with a message that made me smile. "I know what you did, and I think you're brave. My sister stole money from our grandmother's estate, and I've been too scared to confront her. Your story gave me courage. Thank you for showing me that sometimes standing up to family is the most loving thing you can do." I showed the message to Victor. "Looks like you started something," he said. "Good, maybe other people won't have to give up their kidneys to learn that they deserve better." My phone kept buzzing with messages, some supportive, some critical, all of them proof that my story mattered to someone. I was starting medical school in a week. I had a place to live, tuition paid, and a future that belonged entirely to me. My scar was healing nicely, the one on my side, and the deeper one that came from learning that sometimes the people who are supposed to love you most will hurt you worst. But scars are just proof that you survived something that could have killed you, and I was very much alive.